Hi, my name is Jimmy Fratantoni. I'm a senior at Owen J. Roberts High School. I'm going to graduate in 2015, and I wrestled at 152 pounds last year. When I'm on the mat, and whether it's a match or wrestling practice, I never stop moving. I'm always going 100%, and I'm more of an aggressive wrestler, so I'm always attacking my opponent. And what motivates me to work so hard on the mat, just the fact that I don't want to lose, and I just love the competition and how wrestling builds character and all that.
Jimmy brings 100% in everything he does. In practice, it's a dogfight with Jimmy every time he wrestles live. And that's really what it is with him. I mean, a wrestle match for Jimmy, he's fighting out there and he's fighting for every point. He doesn't give an inch. I've seen Jimmy go through the doors and into the hallway and he's still fighting for that point. There's no accepting second place with him. He's fighting to win, and he wants to win every position. And I think that's something that's kind of special about him.
When I first got into high school, my freshman, sophomore year, I was stuck behind two studs, and it was tough not being in the lineup those years because I knew I was a decent wrestler and I just wanted to get out there on the mat. But it was pretty cool being on a really good team.
Jimmy came into our program as a freshman and walked into one of the best teams in the state and one of the best spots, one of the best where we were our deepest.
We had a run of kids in front of him that were pretty tremendous. Some of the best kids in the history of the school.
For most kids who have experienced some sort of success, Jim's a good wrestler, but he's a really good lacrosse player. And that's tough.
When I got hurt in the beginning of the season, my junior year, I rehabbed 3 days a week for a long time, and I wanted to get back on the mat as soon as possible.
Jimmy's a kid who can definitely deal with adversity. You talk about, the frustration of sitting behind kids, dealing with injury, dealing with a concussion. He's been through it all, and still with a smile on his face and ready to come in and work as hard or harder than anybody this offseason.
So if someone pisses me off on the mat, I just want to go out there and rip their heads off. I'd say I'm definitely most confident in my hazard just to get some points there. But when I'm a neutral, I like to go for either a dump or set up for a double. On bottom, I always just try and build a base and never get out of position and just keep working up to stand up, get a point. I hate when people hold me down. I just do everything I can just to get out of bottom.
Jim's an incredibly tough kid in many ways. Physical toughness, kids hate wrestling him because he's unbelievably physical in his hand fighting in every position. But then also that mental toughness. Like I said, as a kid who had experienced success, to come and sit behind state qualifiers as a freshman and a sophomore and then to stick with it, that says a lot about who you are.
I'd say that I get pretty good grades. I have a 4.0 GPA. I take a good amount of honors courses, and my favorite course is math. And when it comes to balancing out my academics with sports, specifically wrestling, I'd say that it actually gets easier because everything that I do when I wrestle becomes easier outside of wrestling because I always have a set schedule during the season. Go to school, go to practice, go home, do all my schoolwork, and then go to bed because I'm dead tired. There's really no time to be lazy during the season. In January, towards the middle of the season, we start morning runs, which is right before school. And I think they definitely help all the wrestlers on our team stay conditioned and just be more conditioned than our opponents, and I think it definitely gives us an advantage on the mat just to never lose focus and never break. That's one of my biggest things that I focus on, is never breaking on the mat.
Jimmy's a coachable kid because Jimmy wants to win, and he's willing to do pretty much whatever he has to do to win. One thing about Jimmy though, he's not afraid to ask why. He wants to believe in what he's doing. And if he does, he'll work very hard. Sometimes he'll question, and it makes me question why I'm doing something with him. And usually we kind of work through things like that, and in the end we find maybe something that works even better for Jimmy. And what's good about that is that he's thinking about the sport. You know, he's kind of processing, why am I doing things this way? What if I tried something this way? And it's his competitive spirit. It's him trying to find the best way to do things. And a lot of times it's kind of neat because we'll almost together find a better way to do something.
This summer I went on a trip with an organization called Overland. It's basically an organization where students go on various trips for leadership to different countries, and I went to St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. Mine was a community service trip, and the first week I helped out some illiterate kids at summer camp, and I thought the whole trip was definitely a good learning experience. I learned a lot with helping others and thinking of others before yourself. And that whole aspect made me realize that doing that kind of stuff makes you feel better about yourself and makes you feel happy. What I feel like I can bring to a college team is definitely hard work and positive attitude. I think with wrestling, with all the conditioning and hard work, it builds a lot of character and dedication, and I think that's going to help me a lot when I get into college and further in life when I'm looking for a job, and it's always going to keep me dedicated to what I'm doing, and I'm always going to put in 110% and do as best as I possibly can.
You know, kids who are as athletic as him, will work as hard as him, have that competitive spirit, they're going to be successful. So Jimmy's going to be successful. You know, I taught him in school, and he carries that into the classroom as well. You know, he sees a challenge and he wants to go after it. So I know he's going to be successful no matter what he chooses to do in college.